Welcome to Decades of Horror, the 1980s.
Man, this is the dumbest movie I ever saw.
This is episode 274, recorded December 11th, 2024.
Gruesome Magazine.
I am your host, Jeff Mohr. This podcast is about horror films released between 1980 and 1989. Each episode, my co-hosts Bill Mulligan, Crystal Cleveland, and Chad Hunt, and I will tackle another classic or not so classic film from this radical, gory, influential, and gruesome decade. Joining me tonight is Crystal Cleveland, actress and YouTuber, and dressed for
I figured this is going to air around
Christmas,
right?
Yeah, it will. Like I don't
Mary
know, what is today, 11th, the 23rd,
Yep.
probably.
Oh, see, perfect. There we go. Happy holidays. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Are y'all ready for the holidays? Because I'm not.
No.
Mm-mm.
I'm never ready for him.
I'm excited about this movie, though. It's fun.
Excellent. Also joining us is Chad Hunt, comic book artist, co-host of Decades of Horror, all of them. How you doing, Chad?
Man, this is the dumbest movie I ever saw.
Ain't it great though?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And last but not least, Bill Mulligan, writer, director, special effects guru, all around nice guy, and published author.
Published writer of the book that I always have around but never quite get out.
Red Rom.
Red Rom. 3D. How's it going, guys? Yeah, we just started finals.
Decades of Horror of the 1970s. Yay!
Hey.
Well, hey,
school's a nightmare.
If you haven't listened to the other Decades of Horror, we do have some news. Of course, we are partnering with Play Now Media on some of their streaming channels. In particular, Decades of Horror of the 1980s is on the Wicked Horror TV channel, but they have now supplied us with some promo codes that y'all can use. And just to make sure everybody know, this is for first-time subscribers. If you're already a subscriber, or if you're already a paid subscriber, you won't be able to do this. But if you use the code DOH80, so capital D, capital O, capital H, 80, you will get 20% off your first month of a monthly subscription or the first year of an annual subscription.
Oh, cool.
And the annual subscription, well, the monthly subscription rate is $6.99, so you'd get $1.40 off that. The annual subscription is $49.99, and you would get about $10 off that.
Oh,
not bad. Subscribe
that's
for a year for $40. It can be used on classic horror movie channel, classic sci-fi movie channel, and the Wicked Horror TV channel, all three of them. So you could get discounts on all three of them if you wanted to subscribe to all of those. So there.
Yay.
Do that. We'd appreciate it. And we appreciate our partner here coming up with that.
Yep.
All right. On this podcast, we start by giving some basic details of the film we are covering, followed by each of our first impressions of the movie, taglines, and then general discussion until we go down the road less traveled. Spoiler alert, this particular movie is coming close to 40 years old, 37 years old, something like that. Our topic today is TerrorVision from 1986. Written and directed by Ted Nicolaou. Special effects, Carl Buechler and his mechanical and makeup imageries shop. The cast includes Diane Franklin, Garrett Graham, Mary Warrenov, Chad Allen, John Grease, Burt Remsen, Alejandro Ray, and Jennifer Richards. Production company, Empire Pictures and Altar Productions. Filming locations, while it was in the old Dino De Laurentiis studios near Rome. They started filming in July 1985. The release date was February 14th, 1986. The budget estimated at $150,000, and the domestic box office was $320,000. The synopsis: when a family's new satellite television system starts receiving signals from another planet, it soon becomes the passageway to an alien world. Shenanigans ensue.
Yep.
That's basically it. Yep.
And that's one of our aliens there. He does make a short appearance.
Yep.
Until somebody kind of does him in. All right.
They keep on ensuing, boy.
Yep.
Shenanigans from start to finish.
There are. All right. So this was my pick, and I actually feel like I kind of stole this from Chad because we've had several listeners, followers, Grue believers suggest this, and Chad has made a big point of saying what a great movie it was, and I hadn't seen it. And I finally found what I thought was kind of a decent copy on YouTube.
Yeah.
Wasn't bad.
We did it. We did it.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? He was right. I love this movie. I mean, it's just it should hit you right from the beginning. It's just total and complete over the top nonsense throughout the entire movie.
Basically.
And it is so much fun. Everybody is acting over the top, except maybe Chad Allen. He acts semi-normal, but everybody else is, and it works. I just think it works. I mean, the set design, the monsters, just the dialogue is just all ridiculous and so much fun. So I'm going to stop there, and I'm going to let Chad talk next, since he had seen this before. I'd never seen it before. So
me?
Yeah.
Okay. I love this movie. I rented it. First time I ever saw it, I rented it. And because of John Carl Buechler's, I was a fan of his work.
Uh-huh.
And The Hungry Beast, I think I saw pictures of it in Fangoria or somewhere like that, and it just looked gross and disgusting, and which it was, but it made me want to see it even more. So I saw it, and it was so ridiculous. It was the comedy in it, and the whole setup of Garrett Graham and Mary Warrenoff being swingers. We've only done it really twice, that kind of thing. We're not very good, but their whole house is set up to look like this swingers paradise type thing, and I thought that was hilarious, and they were great in it. By the way, they were just great in it. I don't know if they overplayed it or if they underplayed it. but it was great, and the grandpa I really loved a lot.
Oh yeah.
Come on, boy, and the kid's great as well. So it was a great movie, comedy. It was I don't know if you got to have a certain sense of humor to think this kind of stuff is funny, but I found it hilarious. And at the same time, the alien effects, the makeup and everything was on point. It's John Carl Buechler, so it's on point as far as that kind of stuff goes too. But I love this movie.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, Mr. Bill Mulligan.
Wow, I had not seen this before.
Oh yeah,
it's lots of opportunities, but I always passed it up, and I don't know why. I guess I probably looked at the back cover and it just looked too cartoony and dumb, and it is cartoony and dumb, but it is such a snapshot. I mean, I'm gonna keep this movie, and when my grandkids are old enough, it's like, tell us, Grandpa, what was it like in the 1980s? I'm just gonna slip this right into the VCR or brain chips or whatever we're using.
Tell them it was E.T.
This movie, if this movie had just had maybe a song by New Order playing over the end credits, they could put this in a time machine for future generations to dig up and see what it was like. It is so 80s. The hair, the colors, the style, everything about it. And normally I'm not a big fan of stupid movies, deliberately stupid movies, but this one has a kind of charm to it, and everyone seems to be having fun. It's got a bunch of familiar faces. I always love seeing Mary Warrenoff and Garrett. Just everyone's perfect doing what they're doing. They're swinging for the fences. The comedy is broad, but it's genuinely amusing, and the monster effects are pretty good. You got to love those practical effects. Just makes you realize, man, we had it made in the 80s. What a great time to be growing up. I didn't appreciate it at the time. If I could go back in time, man, go back to the 80s. You were allowed to have all kinds of fun and do things, and just it's crazy. And this one gives you a nice little glimpse into what it felt like, a time gone by. It's dumb as dirt, but I had a great time watching it. I'm really glad you picked it. It was another one of those that I thought, because I'm really stressed for time right now, had my hand on the the control button to zip through things, but nope, just let it ride. Let it ride. It went by pretty fast. So thanks for picking this. I had a good time.
Great. All right, Crystal Cleveland. What do you think?
This was the first time I'd seen it too. I can't believe I haven't seen it actually before. To be honest, I think I've only heard about it like once or something, and really hadn't thought much about it. But obviously, I love this movie. I mean, I was actually shocked when I started watching it how good it was. Well, as soon as I saw Mary Warrenoff in it, which is one of the first people you see, I was like, oh, well, this will probably be okay. And then the chick from freaking Better Off Dead. Isn't it Better Off Dead? I love her.
The foreign exchange student.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Last American Virgin. Yeah, she's great.
So I never saw that one. But
Diane
I love Better Off
Franklin
Dead.
as well.
Yeah.
So, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But then when in the beginning, you actually do see the creature first. Like they show you the outer space, and I'm shocked about how good the creature was. Like y'all are downplaying it. These effects are freaking great. Like really good. Way better than a lot of the other 80s films we've seen. I mean, there's not a ton of them, but there's a lot. And I mean, the way the grandpa gets got, and it's good.
Yeah.
Like this is a quality film for its time, really, truly. Is the story dumb? Yeah, well, sure, it's dumb. And honestly, it is in essentially one location, and it doesn't go anywhere. It's just a silly story. At first, as I was watching it, I was like, is this going to be like an anthology? Because I didn't know for sure. Because you see the TV stuff, and I was like, oh, that would be an awesome idea for a wraparound for an anthology.
Right.
Actually.
No, that makes sense.
And then the TV, the different shows that they see on the television. But it wasn't. And I loved every bit of it. I loved the rocker boyfriend dude who was actually really kind of precious and sweet. And the parents are in Spiro. Is he a manly man? Yeah, totally. He's super manly.
He's a stud, yeah.
Yeah. I love this movie. Yeah, I definitely wish. I mean, well, I will watch it again. I can't believe it took me this long
Crystal,
to see it. Yeah.
I got to say, when Medusa showed up, I started thinking, boy, if they remake this movie, Crystal's got to play
Medusa. Oh my God, she's awesome. I was actually thinking about cosplaying her. I was like, that'd be an easy enough costume.
That would be
for Christmas.
I bet not a lot of people would get it, but the ones who got it would really get it.
Would love it. Yeah. I know, because she's hard to miss. She's funny.
Yeah,
and I love that she kills the good. The good, of course. I mean, the whole this is a dumb movie though. Like this is super dumb. Like they want to arrest this little kid for calling 911 or whatever. It's like, okay, yeah, y'all are coming to the house to arrest. It's so ridiculous, but it doesn't matter. Just roll with it. And yeah, it was good. I loved it. So, what about you?
Excellent. Jeff? Oh, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I did want to mention that it is available on Blu-ray from Shout Factory.
Oh yes, I did see that. Like
it's a double feature. That the other movie on it is Video Dead.
Oh yeah,
which I haven't seen, but it looks like
a long time ago I saw that one.
Video Dead.
Yeah, I think I recall that being better than it probably had any reason to be.
But they managed to put some extras on there. There's like a 30-minute making of and a commentary from the writer director, and then the two John Grease and Diane Franklin are all on the commentary. So it's kind of fun, and they're all yucking it up about all the silly stuff that happened. All right. Well, I guess it's
that time.
It's about that time. I don't think we have a whole bunch.
No.
This
didn't get a great release.
For taglines with Chad.
This first tagline is probably one of the best taglines I've ever had the pleasure of reading on this show, because it fits the movie so well, and the whole theme of the movie or whatever. People of Earth, your planet is about to be destroyed. We're terribly sorry for the inconvenience.
Oh, that's cute. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's good, because the second tagline is one of the worst you've ever had to do.
Uh-oh.
What?
Yeah.
The Do-It-Yourself 100 picks up things from everywhere.
Oh,
wow.
Okay.
Now, if you've never seen this and you were walking into the movie theater to see that, you wouldn't know what the hell they were talking about.
Yeah, that's a fail.
But
that first one was good. And that was.
That was it?
And taglines with Chad.
Chad's our hero, cool and rad. With him reading taglines, they can't be that bad.
Yay.
Woohoo!
We love that.
That was quick.
My favorite part of doing that segment.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
It definitely is.
That was.
What are you drinking from, a 12-liter mug or something? What the hell was that?
This?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's not,
a quart.
It probably looks like that up close, but it's
You
not.
can keep track of your alcoholism.
That's pretty
with
big.
That one.
That's pretty big.
It's cranberry grape.
Ooh,
that sounds good.
That sounds delicious.
Good for your kidneys.
So is the handle always purple, or just when you put it grape in it?
Just when you squeeze it tight enough.
Okay.
All right.
I don't even know what we're doing anymore.
So what do we know about this? Well, I'll tell you.
Ooh, I've
This
never
movie-
seen any of this. Look how cool that is.
That's a cool poster.
This movie was Ted Nicolaou went to Charles Band and said, "I want to direct a movie," and he goes, "Okay, well, I got this poster."
There
Are you serious?
They started with, at that time, Charles
That's awesome.
Band at Empire Pictures. They started with the poster, and so he
if
wrote
that ever works.
a script based around that poster.
That's smart though.
It's true. You know, I used to read Variety because it was at the school library when I was in college, and one of the things that they had a lot of were these posters for movies that never got made. They would make the poster, and they would stick it in Variety, and they were trying to drum up investors. And these guys, the band people, were infamous. I'm still waiting for Decapitron, which looked like a great movie. They had all these things that would just, great posters and everything, and then they disappear and new posters would show up, and occasionally one of the posters would get turned into a movie. So it worked. That's a good poster too. That's a great poster, actually.
Cool.
You got the analog dish back in the days, right?
Mm-hmm.
That thing was massive.
Did you guys? Any of you guys ever have one of those?
I had one
Did you?
in Florida. It took up half the backyard.
Yes.
Yeah. And when the thing broke, you had to go outside and manually crank it around. Somebody on the inside would go, "Okay, stop!" As you got to a killer channel. It was ridiculous.
I never had one, but my brother-in-law had one, and it was a little motor, and it moves around the mat to find the satellites.
Are y'all serious? Like it was actually like that?
Yeah.
That's
that one they had in this show was tiny compared to the one we had. It was.
Why, you think we're just making this stuff to fool the kid? Yeah.
Yeah, because that sounds insane.
She bought it, guys. No.
Listen, Chris,
I'm stupid.
Things are so much worse. There were times where we would actually have someone holding on to a metal wire hanger to, standing somewhere to try to bounce it onto the TV.
Like for the
if
antenna?
Mhm.
Oh, that
Well, that
probably
too,
works though, because we conduct electricity. That makes sense though. See,
Yeah.
that makes sense. That I believe, because if you want a good,
Yeah.
clear picture, I
Well, I wonder if we've got any, like electrical engineers or something that listen. But, back in the day, it makes me wonder, like the digital dishes are so little, right? I don't know if you,
Oh, is that what the dishes are now? They're digital. That's the
yeah,
difference.
right.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm
And they're
stupid.
getting it
I don't
all off
know.
they're getting it all off of one
Like,
satellite too,
that makes a
depending
lot
on where
more
you live.
sense.
But back then they had to switch different satellites, but it makes me wonder if did it really have to be that big, or did somebody just go, we better make it big just to
Make
make
it
sure?
big. For the
Yeah, that's a
prices
good
we're
question.
charging.
I don't know. Someone will tell us. All right.
I love this poster. I even like
Me
the
too.
fonts there for TerrorVision. That's great. That looks
Yeah,
great.
it's awesome.
Really
The
Like
colors are
this
great.
way beyond its
yeah.
like.
Big
Empire always
eyeballs.
had some cool posters. You have to give it to them for that.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Tentacles coming out, houses that go into each house, And it starts off with that weird, I don't know if I don't think we have a picture of that, but it starts with you're on this other planet and you're seeing, what does it say? It says it's the like electronic graveyard or something, or what does it say?
The planet Plutron.
Sanitarium.
Yeah.
Sanitation. I think it's a
Sanitation. Yes, it
Sanitation dump
does.
or something.
Because I was
And
like, he's in a sanitation.
Yeah, there's a Star Trek Enterprise there that they've taken apart and put back together
Funny.
incorrectly.
Is it real?
Yes.
That's
There's a
funny.
big dish in the middle that's upside right, and then the part that usually hangs off the bottom, they attached on the top.
That's how you did special, props back in the day. You bought model
cool.
kits and you just cannibalized them into something cool.
All right, so Ted Nicolaou.
I love Subspecies.
Well, he is Mr. Subspecies because if you look at his IMDb, it's Subspecies, Subspecies 2, Subspecies 3 through 7, whatever. That's his bread and butter. So I guess we're gonna have to do Subspecies someday.
It's from the 90s.
Oh, it is? Oh.
I feel like it's from the 90s.
You
Isn't
may be
Subspecies
right.
Yes,
from
it
the
is.
90s?
Well, this is his first movie, and this was later 80s, so that makes sense.
Well, this says first, but then there's a couple listed before this. One where it was looks like a segment in an anthology.
Okay.
But yeah, Savage Island. I don't know, and then the Dungeon Master. But Subspecies in 1991, and then this is an odd one. It went to a TV series. I just don't know anything about these. Lucky Luke 2, and then a TV series. I never heard of Lucky Luke. Subspecies 2, 3, Dragon World, Leaping Leprechauns, Secret of the Leprechauns, another Dragon World. It's just, and I'm kind of assuming this is all for Full Moon.
Yeah.
All the way up. Every one of them is like Devil Dolls, Vampire Slaughter, Eaten Alive, Subspecies 5 just last year.
Yes. I was like, the new one just came out. Yep. He worked on that one too. That's cool.
But what's kind of interesting is he started as an editor, and the first movie he edited was Tourist Trap.
Yay. That's actually a fabulously edited film.
Yeah.
For as weird as it is, like it's effective. It works well.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always weird cuts and
He also edited Robo-Jocks.
Stuart Gordon film.
Trancers. So remember when we did the Stuart Gordon movies that were shot over in Italy? This is the same thing. And then they shot Troll. It was either right before or right after this, and Buechler was there and directed Troll in the exact same studio and everything. So anyway, background stuff, but I kind of found that interesting.
It's very interesting.
Trancers. So these guys just do tons of stuff. All right. Well, let's look at the lead family, the Futtermans. Which I don't know. Oh, it's actually, isn't it? It's the Puttermans, right?
Putterman. Yeah. I said Futter.
It's the Puttermans.
Yeah. So they got young Cyndi Lauper and just
So left to right in that top picture are Burt Remsen as Grandpa, Diane Franklin as teenage daughter Susie. Yeah, trying to look like Desperately Seeking Susan or Cyndi Lauper, and then Mother Raquel, Mary Warrenove, and son Chad Allen, and father. Chad Allen is Sherman, and then the father is Stan Garrett Graham. They're just
awesome.
hilarious
with his ridiculous mascot.
Yeah, I have a weird question. Okay. Spiro says that he only likes dudes, right? But then he leaves them and goes to the wife and is like trying to
to his own wife. Yeah, to his own wife. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, so I'm confused. Did you guys realize that?
Oh, yeah, no, it made no sense. It was a plot point that was introduced and then abandoned in 30 seconds. So
okay, I'm just making sure. I was like, wait, what?
It was the 80s.
I'm Greek. Greek.
Well, yeah, I guess
that explains it all. He's Greek.
Oh God! And Garrett Graham, Jesus. Well, we'll get into the individuals here.
You know, for a guy who's not really that well known, really, he's popped up in an awful lot of movies that we've done.
Yeah,
and he's great in everything.
Mm-hmm.
He's a lot of fun.
I don't I've seen him in a lot of stuff. A lot.
What is that one?
The one on the bottom? That's Phantom of the Paradise.
Look at how awesome he looks.
He was great. Oh yeah, that's
Child's Play 2, Used Cars.
He's great.
Oh, he was great in Used Cars.
Used Cars should have been a. See, you look at him in these movies, and all of these seem like, well, this should have been the movie that made him famous,
and
yet it didn't happen. He's in a lot of cool movies. He's had a great career. There's nothing to be ashamed of, but it feels like he should have been in something big. I don't know.
What else? Oh, he was in Demon Seed.
Mm-hmm.
We did on 70s.
He shows up a lot. He does a great job, and he's fun. He can do comedy or drama, like Mary Warrenove. I mean, and the two of them play off against each other. She's got a real gift for. She's the kind of actress that I think actors would like to be with because she makes it fun. She and Paul Bartel in Eating Raoul or whatever. She's got just. I've always liked her. I've always liked her look and her.
Me too.
Her personality. Yeah. I met her at a convention a few years back. She still looks like Mary Warrenove. She's almost 80 now, but really intelligent, which comes through, and has an interesting story. We started out with Andy Warhol, and did a lot of cool things. I love her to death.
I think that what makes her successful is she's not afraid to look stupid or whatever. She just puts it out there because this was pretty crazy. Okay.
Yeah. This was a movie. Everyone got to be broad,
even
really.
Though she was over the top, she wasn't as well in a good way, there, you could be over the top without being over the top. Like that's what's crazy about this film. I think everyone is way over the top, but it's not way over the top.
Yeah.
It still comes across as authentic.
It's a weird skill. And she brings that to like one of her most famous roles, the principal in Rock and Roll High School, where the trick is everyone is acting badly, but they're acting, the good ones at least, are acting badly in a good way. That's the trick, to be playing these broad characters, but it feels right for the role, as opposed to you're just a bad actor. Yeah, exactly. I like that sofa they had, actually. Their whole house was pretty cool. Oh,
yeah, that both of them do this. They are on 100% of the time.
Yes.
I mean, he's mugging, and it's amazing. Like when they show him getting ready in front of the mirror, all the stuff all the facial expressions and things he goes through so fast, so quickly. It's just crazy. Yeah, so they're a perfect couple. In fact, she was called in to talk about the Medusa part.
Really?
And she had read the script and said, "No, I want to be the mom." and he said, "You can do whatever you want."
That's
Aw, that's
that is the
good.
correct
Yeah.
response to when you have someone like that. But she would have been a good Medusa.
Yeah, she
But
would.
I'm glad they did what they did, because she was able to make the mom a fun character, I think, more than most people could.
Well, she was she in
And
getting this mixed
weird
up,
as it
Chopping
is-
Mall? She was had a small
Yeah.
part in Chopping Mall.
She and Paul Bartel, were in
well,
Chopping Mall.
Night of the Comet, my favorite,
Mhm.
my favorite. But
And-
I actually bought them as a couple too, as weird as
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
seems. So that is, I'm like, it's crazy. I really believed them.
Death Race 2000 that we did on 70s.
Mhm. Oh yeah, she was Calamity Jane.
Anyway, seems to me like there was another 80s one we did with her, but I don't know, maybe not. It's not coming up, but yeah,
I
the
feel
two
like
of them were
there's
great.
two, but
And I'm telling you, I'm sorry, but Alejandro Rey was awesome.
is that Spiro?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
So where would you know him from?
I have no idea, but
Anybody?
I drawn a blank.
He's
flying-
familiar, but
The Flying Nun.
Oh,
He was the rich guy that had
Oh.
the resort next to the or whatever. Or the
he kind of reminds me of like Fantasy Island.
yeah. Well, the Flying Nun. Dang, that was a weird show.
when I was a little kid, I always thought it was the things on the hat that made her fly.
Yeah. Well,
Is
yeah.
that not-
wasn't
is that, is that not it?
I don't know. Oh,
Well, Chad, come on. Without that, it would make no sense.
really? I didn't give that much of a shit about it, but okay.
I would
But then
just.
does that
I
mean
would
that
love to.
anybody could fly? Does that mean
well,
any?
no, I think you had to have the right body type and hollow bones. But yeah, I would love to have been there when they pitched it. When they went to a producer and said, "I've got an idea for a sitcom. Are you sitting down?
Oh God.
She's a nun, but she can
Yeah.
fly."
This
But why?
but he's
why
another.
though?
He's another guy that was in almost every series. As I go through them, it's just amazing how many different shows he did, like 1 or 2 episodes of. He did a couple episodes of Thriller back in the late 50s. Night Gallery,
Oh, nice.
Battle of Bloody Beach. That's a war deal. Let's see. Oh, and of course, an episode of Perry Mason. I just watched that. Minnie Loves Adobe Gillis.
Damn, he's old.
Alfred Hitchcock Hour, Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, I Spy, Daniel Boone, Girl from Uncle, Run for Your Life, the Ben Gazzara one. Did you guys ever see that?
Mm-mm.
No, he was gonna die and he had to find something real quick. I don't remember what it was. He had a limited time to live.
You know what? He should have hung out with the guy who was the star of The Immortal, because that would have worked out perfectly.
Yeah. Or the Fugitive or Cornet Blue.
They should have done a TV movie where all these characters who were in TV shows where the premise was they always had to run from town to town. If they could at least run into each other just once.
Mm-hmm.
He was
solve
in
everyone's
the
problems.
Night Gallery episode, The Doll of Death.
Ooh,
That starred Susan Strasberg.
Still wasn't as weird as The Flying Nun.
No. Those were weird. Did you ever see that, Crystal?
I know what it is, but I've never seen it. I know that it had, like, she had big, and it was like, I don't know what the show though. It doesn't sound fun to me though, to be honest with you.
It had Sally
Okay,
Field.
'cause
Harlan Ellison
does
wrote
she
an episode.
fly?
I gotta
Why
dig
does
that
that
one
make
out.
it? What does she do? Why does she fly? What's her point?
The
What's
fly,
her
the
purpose?
funny thing is the
What does
flying
she
thing
do?
really
No,
had
what
nothing to
does
do with
she
anything.
do?
It was like every other show where someone that you never see again shows up and they have a problem, and our protagonist gets involved and things go south, but in the end they pull it out, and somewhere in the middle there she flies. I don't know.
So she's trying to like help people or something?
Yeah, she's a nun. Of course, she has to help people.
Well, that's
and
not
she's-
usually what nuns do, but
Well,
that's
this-
okay. We'll
hey,
just
you know what?
pretend
Nuns also
that
don't
that's what
usually
nuns
fly.
generally stay within the church. They don't generally venture out. They're not like missionaries,
Well,
not really.
Well, of course they
Very
don't, because if they
rare.
ventured out, the wind would probably pick them up and they'd be flying everywhere.
He was,
That's true.
Alejandro Rey was in Moscow on the Hudson
funny.
too.
Oh,
So anyway, yeah. So he plays and he died less than a year after this movie came out. From
Oh,
lung
he looks so
cancer.
healthy. Oh, Jesus.
dang. That's no good.
What?
But he was great too. Just the way everything out of his mouth was with gusto.
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
That
all
means
right.
He was probably sick when he filmed this. He looks super healthy and great.
This,
Like,
okay, so
that's unfortunate.
this
Here's-
movie, all the characters in this movie, none of them may be what you would call book smart, but they're very sure. They're very self-assured. Everything they do 100%. They're certain that they are
I
in
love
the
this
right.
chick. Okay, granted, I've only seen her in this and Better Off Dead, but I love her. I think she's so pretty.
I did too. I
She's
had a
so-
crush on her when Better
I
Off
think-
Dead came out.
I think
She's
all
still
the straight
active,
guys
yeah.
had a crush on her at some point. She was the it girl for
She
a
looks
bit.
so French or something to me. She just, well,
Mhm.
doesn't she play a French?
It's Franche.
Yeah, that was stupid of me. That's probably why I have that idea in my head from Better Off Dead. Duh.
She,
Like,
she said this was so much fun that she got to just be so over the top, and then just having stuff like several colors of eyeshadow and hair.
All the
and
colors of eyeshadow.
the hair. They had like 3 wigs to make her hair.
That hair really got on my nerves, man.
there's a lot going on.
I'm not sure
Like,
they got it to look the same every time either. It was
My ADHD would not let me just leave it be.
Oh yeah.
I had to keep rewinding it, going, "Is that really hair? So what is that?"
she had the
Oh, it was definitely a wig, and it
Yeah.
look at how thick it is. That's a lot of hair.
Mhm.
Like,
Do you, Bill? Your picture there in the bottom. Do you know what all those parts are?
No, but it was just a little montage.
Yeah.
Because she kept popping up and stuff. The role that people remember more than most now is The Last American Virgin, which sounds like just one of those stupid teen sex comedies, and to a degree it was, but it had one of the most downer but realistic endings that just seemed to come out of nowhere and has kind of lingered over time. It's actually pretty well done, at least that part. She was the, if you had to have a character, this is going to be the girl who moves into town and the boy has a crush on her. She was the go-to girl. I don't think she made that many movies in that role, but she did it real well. And she's still
fun
working
in this.
to a degree.
She's still active. I mean, she's Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure too.
oh, really?
She wrote a book
Wow.
too. She wrote a book about that time, being an actress in that time. Which is interesting.
55
It's called Some
credits, and she
Stories.
was in a movie this year
Puzzle.
called Angel with a Gun.
Angel with the gun. Pew pew pew.
I'm not sure it's out. There's no rating on it or anything.
Oh, Crystal, we listen to you sing. When they started doing that theme song, which is hard to get out of your head, I was like,
yeah.
Crystal could
It's actually
sing this
pretty
song.
good. It's
You could
pretty
sing
good,
that. You
right?
could do that for
That was-
karaoke. That wasn't bad. It was actually catchy.
Kind of
So that
fun.
was that
yeah.
the one that the Fibonacci's did?
Yeah.
That? Yeah.
There's
And then
something
they
about it that I like too. I was like, okay.
Well, they were a legit band. They never really
Yeah.
attained any great recognition, but they were an interesting. That was a good time for new wave, punk, techno. I mean, it was a cool musical time, and it was a cool musical time because a lot of modern bands are still ripping off the melodies
Mhm.
and riffs and everything into their
True.
stupid little rap songs. But it's okay
They're
because
stupid.
the
little-
original artists get paid more for that than they probably ever did for the original song.
Oh, that's probably true. That's
So yeah,
unfortunate.
Tom Tom Club doesn't care when some rapper comes along. It's like, hey, can I pay for do 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 do? Yeah, just make sure send the check here, and you can
Yep.
use it as much as you like.
And so that's the daughter, Diane Franklin. Here's the son, Chad
This
Allen.
kid looks familiar to me.
Oh yeah.
What
Well,
was
he grew up to be a.
who though?
Trying to remember
Like,
what he was in.
I don't know his name.
Well, he's the trivia question for a pretty crazy trope called the Tommy Westfall universe hypothesis.
What? The fudge? Are you okay now?
He
obviously
was,
you got-
he was like the,
Only Jeff. Only
yeah,
Jeff.
like,
he was the autistic son of Dr. Westfall on
Yes.
on St.
Saint
Elsewhere.
Elsewhere.
And the ending scene, the final episode of the show
Uh-huh.
made it look like the entire show was this snow globe that he was fascinated with, and he imagined
like
the whole
Krampus.
thing.
Yeah.
He
I
imagined
remember
the
that.
whole. So, and then people have gone crazy with that and said, well, there was St. Elsewhere had a bunch of crossovers. There was a crossover with Cheers, and several characters from St. Elsewhere were featured on Homicide: Life on the Streets. And then by the time you do all the different degrees of connection,
Yeah.
it said the program can be linked to at least 280 other non-animated shows
It's bigger than the MCU.
that are all part of Tommy Westfall's imaginary world in the snow globe.
That's awesome.
that's
But he
crazy.
played that kid, but that's not, he did more than that. But that's just one of those crazy things.
He later became a writer and a psychiatrist, I believe.
really
Ah.
that's cool. I know I've seen him in something. I just don't know. It's obviously not whatever that was. Not Saint Else.
What was
Elsewhere,
the show? He
whatever.
was in a show with Wilford Brimley.
Wow.
Our House in
Oh, geez.
1986. So
In the middle of the
Shit.
street.
with
Our
Deidre
House.
from what was the
Electra Woman and Dinah Girl.
Electro.
Deidre Hall
yes.
Oh, wow.
Oh, Deidre
What-
Hall, like from the soap opera.
Yeah.
from Electra Woman and Dinah Girl.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't remember any soap opera, but I remember Electra Woman
She
and
was
Dinah Girl.
I'll
okay.
bet you
So
do.
I know who she is because she apparently I didn't watch the soap, but she got possessed on the soap or something.
Oh,
Oh,
God,
wow.
yes. That was shit was crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that made news. So I was like, wait, what's that? Like maybe I was just way too young. I had no idea how to freaking watch a soap opera.
I
mean,
never watched the stories.
I had school.
I did.
Yeah.
I got into it was a bad time in my life, but I used to go over to a friend's house and watch soap operas in the afternoon, and I
was a
believe
bad time
General
in my
Hospital was the biggie, and then there was a couple other ones we watched once in a while.
He was also the son in a kind of groundbreaking situation comedy, My Two Dads.
Okay,
Oh, yeah,
that
yeah.
sounds familiar. That's what it is. I think that's what it was. Because it had a girl in it. who
Well, I
had-
think I
right?
think he's gay too, and has been active in
well, they
yeah.
weren't gay. The
AIDS-
two dads
AIDS.
weren't gay.
AIDS awareness, etc. So,
Yeah,
okay.
the two dads weren't gay. They were.
Oh, they
just-
weren't? Oh.
No.
Wow. Then it wasn't
They were
groundbreaking at
just-
all. It's just the odd couple.
Well, it
with a
is
kid.
groundbreaking because she did have two dads, and they didn't know which one was actually the father, so they decided to raise
Oh.
her together or something. But they
Okay,
were,
I'm going to read
that's-
this just because I think. I mean,
That's
this is
just-
great. He's out. He's pretty straightforward about it. In the quotes on his IMDb page, I don't remember a time when I didn't know I was gay. I may not have
No.
known what to
Good.
call it, and for a long time, I probably wouldn't have even associated it with sexual attraction. But I knew something about me was different. I've been acting since I was a child. On one of my very first jobs, I was playing a sick kid on some bad TV show, and Alec Baldwin was giving me mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. Alec Baldwin. I couldn't wait to get to work. I would sit and stare at him all day. I couldn't stand not to be around him. I think I was 8 years old at the time.
Aw. Oh, that's so awkward, though. If I
Yeah.
was Alec Baldwin, I would feel so uncomfortable about that. Not because of the gay part, because he's 8.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
because he's an 8-year-old. Like having an 8-year-old
You're
think like
turning
that
on
about you.
8-year-olds, Alec.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't know. It's not.
Ask Clint
It
Eastwood.
wouldn't be a whole lot different than what was the movie Sandlot when somebody the one kid wants the lifeguard to give him mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, and he fakes drowning.
Oh, like I love that this dude was able to like live his life knowing,
Yeah.
it was okay. Because I feel super bad for anyone who feels like they have
Yeah.
to. That's awesome. I mean, that means he grew up as just kind of a free child, free spirit.
Oh, he was on Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman too.
Oh, okay.
And he thought he was going to be on that. He signed on and was on it and thought it'd probably last a year and he was going to make money to go to college, and then it was on for 6 years.
Yeah, I signed up to be on that too, hoping I would get Jane Seymour to kiss me.
See?
Yeah.
It didn't work out.
Jane
Not
Seymour is
really
beautiful.
any different. Not really any different.
I'd
Oh,
want
yeah, it was a
Jane Seymour to
restraining
kiss me even now. She's still. Have you
Well, you
seen?
get-
She's gorgeous still.
Well,
You get to-
I even pretended I was drowning and nobody came. So
No, they threw you an anchor.
gorgeous.
yeah,
Yeah.
here, grab this.
So he even, one of the things in this movie though is he's carrying that I don't know what you call it, AR-15 or
Oh yes.
he carries that
Yes,
around the
around.
entire movie.
Yeah.
Yes. But he throws it too. It's like, oh my God. I was like, when he was about to use fun, he's like, "Teh." I'm like, oh God.
Now they were talking about this when he was shooting it. They said they thought it was just they just added muzzle flash to post-production. But when Diane Franklin shot it, she said it had like blanks or something, that she was really shooting something, but they still had to add the muzzle flashes, but but because she got a big kick out of being able to do that. Anyway. All righty. Well, and then there's Grandpa Burt Ransom.
I loved
Remsen.
the grandfather.
He was great.
He's
He
fun.
was great. He had some great lines.
Yeah, I'll say one thing. This movie's not sentimental. I mean, it kills off
No.
everybody. And the grandpa's like the first to go, and you're like, well, he was a fun character.
Yeah, he was.
And
As goofy as that monster looks, it's horrific at the same time.
yeah,
I
it
mean-
sucks your body out, and then it replicates you, sort of, kind of.
This is the movie where they all, the writer, director, and many of these actors learned about methyl cellulose too.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
they
there's
all
plenty
had
of
to,
that. Yeah.
Yep.
they all had to pick it up or get a face splash of it or whatever. So I should know him from somewhere. I know he's been in a ton of stuff. He had, how he was limping. He had one leg that was like 3 inches shorter than the other one from a
What?
injury,
That sucks.
like a broken leg, and I don't know if they couldn't, whatever the deal was.
It was a collapsing crane on the set of the TV series No Time for Sergeants.
Cheese and rice.
Mm.
That sounds scary.
200 credits, including a shop owner on Baywatch.
Oh, that's fun.
Let's see. Well, you know what? I know he's in some other stuff, but 200 is too many to look through, and I didn't.
Yeah, that's a lot of
I
stuff.
didn't look ahead of time. But again, many TV shows. Let's see. Code of Silence, Nashville, McCabe and Mrs. Miller.
Wait, Nashville? Like the Hayden Panettiere? That I watched that show, y'all.
No, not the
and it
TV
was
show, the
good.
movie. The
Oh.
movie from the 70s.
Never mind. My bad. Never seen that.
Well, there may be some basis on it. I don't know.
When you go down his list, you see a lot of characters called Gramps or Old Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what's, I don't know if it's funny or not, but looking at the ones where they actually have names, or as opposed to, but he was great. He was always, I mean, he comes, okay.
Okay. Yep.
His
Get your shit
whole,
together.
his whole lizard tail thing was
Yeah.
awesome.
A never-ending supply. They grow back. You just
Yeah.
eat one, they grow back.
A self-regenerating food source for survival. And then that one time they pull the curtain back, there's a bunch of lizards there.
Yeah.
Supplied
That's so
First-
gross.
for the
but-
lizard
Tail
tail
jerky.
jerky.
It's kind of brilliant, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, and
Yeah.
when he comes in, he's carrying a set of sandwich boards. He's been out walking up and down the boulevard.
What a great head at the bottom.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the most realistic heads I've ever seen
Yep.
made.
And then it just like I like when it collapses. Even
Yeah,
It
that's
looks
a
super
cool look.
Yeah, that pincher thing, and a lot of this stuff was for some reason it was stuff Ted Nicolaou wanted. He wanted to have this weird pincer arm, and he wanted to have this
Eyeball arm.
I
tentacle
like
thing.
the wonky
Yeah,
eyes.
the one
That's
arm,
funny.
and then the eyes were cockeyed. He wanted everything to be out of whack. And anyway, okay. Well, John Grease is awesome.
Uncle
that
Rico.
werewolf. Yes.
He was the werewolf in Monster Squad.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's another cool thing this movie had. Was one of my favorite bands. Part of one of their videos was Wasp. At the beginning, and then Uncle Rico there, he had a Wasp T-shirt on, and
Yes, he did. He did.
And Wasp also was in Dungeon Master. As well.
Like the cartoon. Yes.
No,
cartoon.
not Dungeon
Oh, God, I'm
Master. Was
stupid.
it
Jesus.
was it Dungeon Master
Yeah, I think it was. That was another band movie.
with
something
Richard
else.
with
So dumb.
Richard Moll as the monster or the
I
bad
know.
guy?
I feel like
Yeah,
I'm
Wasp was in
another
there too.
language.
You know?
Well, that part in Napoleon Dynamite was so great because he had that stupid wig on. And
Yeah.
Yes.
the whole
the
time I'm
wig
watching
is
a movie, I'm going,
horrible.
I know this guy. Where do I know this guy from? But that wig made
It's
it so
so
goofy.
bad.
I just didn't recognize it.
It's the worst wig I've ever seen. It looks like it was like $2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Well,
loved
kind of like
it.
the wig he's got out
Made
in
it
this
better.
one.
No, this one. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, this one
Oh,
was
okay,
so
this one.
bad. I was like,
I was-
but it was
Yeah.
so bad. It was kind of good.
But yeah,
You
he
know,
had
like,
a wig
he
in
just-
Napoleon Dynamite too, right?
Yeah, that's the one we were talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, what? Okay. See, I'm totally. What the fudge, y'all? I'm
You know what,
totally-
Crystal? You can be in your own little world. That's all right.
Yeah, I'm clearly
It's
like.
a cool world.
So it
lost
turns
in
out
space.
his father is Tom Grease, or was Tom Grease, writer, director, producer. He was a writer for gosh darn it, it's Dinosaur something or another. Oh, I'm not on the right.
Jeff is also in his own world.
Always.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah. What?
He was a writer for a Burt I. Gordon movie.
King Dinosaur?
Yes, King Dinosaur. That's it.
Oh, well, I would really leave that off my resume if I were him.
Well, but he was
Oh,
also
But,
writer, director for 100 Rifles.
Okay.
Um,
Jim Brown, Raquel Welch. Yeah.
and what did I just scrolled past it. I hate when I do that. Oh, he directed 4 episodes of Batman.
Whoa.
And they were, I don't know what these are. 2 of them were Riddlers.
Fun.
What are the
best.
Fine Finny friends? That'd be the Penguin, right?
Yeah,
That does.
that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
That almost
Voice
wipes
to the
off
Bottom of the
stain King
Sea.
Dinosaur.
Will Penny is a director for Will Penny, 100 Rifles. Now, Earth 2, was that one of those ones that was based on that?
I think wasn't Earth 2 like a Roddenberry production?
Well, that's what I was thinking. They're not giving him credit, but I thought that was one of the iterations of that one
Yeah.
Roddenberry script or idea. Anyway, yeah. So he was pretty active too. Oh, he directed 2 episodes of Helter Skelter, which is a kind of a horror movie.
Yeah, that's like
Yeah, so-
I'm assuming it's based on Charles Manson, right?
Yeah,
'Cause-
Yeah, it was
Sounds
on based on Vincent Bugliosi's book.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, anyway, he talked a little bit about his father in the commentary. When they were showing the dinosaur movie on the screen, they were trying to guess what movie it was from. And he said, "Oh, maybe that was from my dad's movie."
That's so cool. That's cool. Like just being like, oh, maybe it was my dad. No big deal. Whatever. Just my paw.
So
I've always liked him though. Every movie he's shown
Funny,
up in,
yeah.
I like him a lot. Yeah.
yeah, he does a great job. Just one of those guys you like to see. And apparently, out of all the actors, he was the one that was a little nervous about going so over the top that Nicolaou kept saying, I think I'm going a little over the top. And he goes, no, you're right on the mark.
Yeah, he didn't go too far. Like but see, like that's the hard part, I think, when you're trying to be a more serious actor, and then it's like, I'm kind of being ridiculous, aren't I?
Speaking of ridiculous,
debatable.
here she is.
Jennifer Richards.
Awesome.
And I thought that scene at the end where they were
wig
trying to
was-
get away and Susie was grabbing onto her snakes.
Yeah.
Pull it off. Did you see that?
Look at her hair. Look at that wig blowing back there. That's hilarious. Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now this actress actually, she didn't do a whole lot,
Right.
but she's got a very famous bit in pop culture because she appeared on the Tonight Show.
Oh.
And she had a classic bit with Johnny Carson. I think she actually did one of those, those sketches that he would do, and usually it'd be Carol Wayne or she was doing the Carol Wayne part, but he invited her to sit down and talk. And
that's
nice. Of
nice.
course, she's wearing her low-cut dress and everything, and I don't know what the topic got onto, but it was something like, explaining why she wears the clothes she wears, and she says, "Johnny, turn around, look at the band." And so he looks at the band. She says, "Now tell me, what color are my eyes?" And he had no idea, and the audience just broke up. He was laughing, Ed, of course, and it was a fun little bit.
She didn't do a lot of stuff. She didn't
do a lot of stuff. No,
16 credits.
She was a lot of fun in this movie.
That necklace, so when I was thinking about it, I was like, that would be cool for a costume. But I was like, what the heck with that necklace? It's off center, but I think it's supposed to be because it was like that most of the time.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, how would you even go about finding something or making something that is so awkward like that? Where did they get that? Okay.
Well, assuming it's true, one of the details about her is that she graduated cum laude from Brooklyn College with a major in speech and theater and has an IQ of 148.
Probably true.
Yeah, sure.
She's not stupid.
No. Well, she did a great
sexuality
job. She did a great
job.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, her Medusa snakes are better than the actual ones in the Gorgon, the movie The Gorgon, which I love. But man, worst snakes ever. So
all right, we need to move along here. Here's the monster.
So cool.
Hungry
This thing
Beast.
is super cool. Okay, I love the look of this monster. I love the eyes. I just think this thing is freaking killer. Like
it reminds me of those. The guy, was it Big Daddy Roth or whatever, who would do the
hot rod
rod cartoons. Yeah, Basil Wolverton kind of inspiration. Lots of teeth. Look at all those teeth.
I know, it's neat.
This
Kind of reminds me of
monster-
a critter in a way in that regard.
It reminded me of a cross between John Carpenter's The Thing and Deadly Spawn. It had sort of the characteristics of The Thing, where it would take on characteristics of anybody that ate. And
it's a smart design. The left side is scary looking. The right side is goofy looking. So you got a little bit of both,
Yeah.
That John Grease said that it reminded him of when he was a kid. They'd have these monster stickers that had names, like Bob and Paul and stuff like that. I found him online, what he was talking about, but that was interesting. No, it's great. And that's took two people, I would guess at least two people to operate it. Some of it I never did quite figure out when they had that appendage that came out with the eyeball on it.
Yeah.
I didn't know where that was half the time.
I think it's where his arm was supposed to be. As it was walking down the hall, you could see.
Oh, okay.
It was like where his arm should have been.
Rolling down the hall.
Yeah.
Walking down the hall. That was great stuff, though. They did a great job. And then there's the
super special effect.
That top picture, Crystal.
I love those lights. Yeah. Oh, yes.
That's the Star Trek
Enterprise.
Yeah. Star Trek Enterprise USS.
Oh my God, I can kind of see it now.
Yeah, it's looking
Yeah, because that yeah, that's
The round piece
interesting.
at
Yeah.
the bottom is the
Yeah. And it's upside down, like you said, because that's the bottom of the.
that should
Okay,
be coming out of the bottom.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I mean,
Crazy,
way
and then
to,
that thing fires off, and then it does like a pinball game with the planets around it, I guess. And there's and apparently these things are their pets, but they're kind of unpredictable, and sometimes they have to flush them.
Like cats.
which is
So yeah,
funny.
it's cool stuff. I really like this movie. We found it on YouTube, so whatever.
And a good copy too, good print.
Yeah, I felt like it was at quality. The sound was good. That's important.
Anything else anybody's got about the movie they want to mention?
No, it was a fun time. It was fun.
Yes.
It was
Yeah, it
good.
was.
I'm glad we did. And I looked at our list, and Robert Baker and Gregory Crosby had suggested it. I'm pretty sure more people than that had suggested it, but that's the two I wrote down when they did it. So Gregory gets a little irritated when I don't give credit. So not really. Okay, we got feedback.
We gotta get to it.
We've got some feedback, and it's good feedback. Real good feedback. Scroll. Okay.
Oh, Asheville update. I was
the first
talking
one.
about Robert today. I was talking about him today.
Yeah.
Must have heard you because we got a bunch from him.
Well, we read. Well, I don't know. I guess I don't have to read this. Chad, you want to read this? He told us about how he was caught with the flood in Asheville, and this is kind of an update on it.
Let's see. Let me get in the right place here. From Robert Baker, right?
Yep.
Okay, this is Robert Baker here, and I just wanted to touch base as last night I listened to the Cannibal Ferox episode, and you read my hurricane in Asheville comments. We have slowly been returning to normal. Water got back on a few weeks ago, but under boiling orders. About 2 weeks ago, we were cleared to start drinking it from the tap again. A lot of areas are still very much in recovery and will be for some time, but my local area was so much luckier than those east of us where the damage was much worse. We had a lot of trees down and bridges washed away, but it has been good to see that most people just helped each other out, as we were all in the same situation of having life totally disrupted. And for the most part, people actually got along in a time period when most would rather seem to want to fight. Take modern day conveniences away, and it's a whole different world than the one we know. Just like so many of the films people like us to watch tell us. All is well, and my biggest thing was running around getting water, which there was plenty of. And the National Guard and the residents worked well together doing what needed to be done. East of here, some people who lost everything are living in tents, and the push now is trying to get housing before winter sets in. So I am very lucky I came through it with just losing water and power for a while. A lot of folks' lives will never be the same again. It all just depended on something as simple as where you lived when the hurricane came through. Completely random. Always keep that in mind. Well, I'm glad to hear you're doing better now, Robert.
Yeah, me too.
I should have put the date on that. Okay. So we got that email on November 26th. So that's kind of how far. And then, how far we record them, and it's close to 2 weeks before they go live.
Yeah.
And he hears them, and then he makes a comment, and then it's another couple weeks. So all this stuff is really kind of staggered, but I really appreciate the follow-up.
Okay.
That was interesting.
It is getting cold out there, so I hope they get these people out of tents pretty soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Well,
crazy.
This was
Scary.
4/11, about 2 weeks ago.
And it would have snowed up there
Oh God, yeah.
this little bit ago.
All right. Thank you so much, Robert, and glad
Thank you, Robert.
You came out okay. And appreciate the statements about everybody pitching in and
good
the
to hear.
National Guard did a good job, etc. It's good to hear from the actual source. Episode 270, The Blob, from Andy L. Crystal, can you take that one?
Okay, yep. Like Bill, I was very familiar with the original with Steve McQueen, which was regularly on TV in the 60s, but also thought that it was in black and white. First saw the remake on videotape rental and agreed that it's one of the great remakes of the decade. Nice to hear more details on how the effects were pulled off. I rewatched it a year or two ago, and it definitely holds up well. Glad to hear Jeff brought up Donovan Sr. While I had an older brother and sister to get me into music beginning in the early 60s, Donovan's Where Your Love Like Heaven was the first LP I bought with my own money. I couldn't afford the gift from a Flower to a Child double LP, so I bought the one half while my older sister bounced for Little Ones, and we shared both. Oh, that makes sense. Crystal should definitely look up the greatest hit collection, as she's missing out on a lot of the most iconic songs of the 60s and 70s.
Agreed.
Yeah. Because I'm like clueless. Did want to mention that Donovan's daughter is also an actress. Oh, she's Ione Skye. I know. I remember that name. Probably best known from Say Anything. Yes. Okay. But I especially liked her in Rachel Papers. I have not seen that, but which is based on the great book by Martin Amis. She doesn't have too much genre stuff, but probably a more successful career than her brother. As always, I appreciate all the crew does to make my commute more enjoyable. Happy holidays, Andy. Happy holidays to you, Andy.
Yeah, you too, Andy.
Glad.
Thanks.
Yeah. So I remember Ione Skye because her name.
Yeah, it's a great name.
That is such a fabulous name, isn't it?
It is. Now, I have a question. You guys remember, I think the song Where Your Love Like Heaven was used as a famous marketing campaign. Was it like Love perfume or deodorant? You guys don't remember that? I'm going to have to look that up. And this is, here I am talking out of my, you know what. But
your booty?
But the thing, that it was like the first time I saw an actual phallus symbol for a product. It was round, about that big around. I gotta get in front of the camera. About that big around, and then it had a clear round cap on the top.
Huh?
You don't remember that at all? I'll find that up and share it with you guys. But I'm pretty sure that was, and maybe I'm mixing up products, but there was a definite product that looked like that, and that song was used in the marketing campaign for a product that was, I think the name of it was Love, like this perfume or something. Anyway, all right, next up, The Blob 270, Robert Baker, Bill.
The Blob.
Robert Baker says, this is one I saw on my local TV station back in the day. Always liked it. The effects were standout, and it makes me wonder what some of the other 50s monster movies would have looked like if they had received updates in the 80s as well. Based on what we got with this, John Carpenter's The Thing, and Invasion of the Body Snatchers back in the 70s, it could have been interesting to see. I agree.
And The Fly.
And The Fly, yes.
Yeah.
So
those are the three biggies plus Invasion. Yeah. Excellent, Robert. Although some of them we didn't want to see remakes. But anyway.
The Giant Claw.
Episode 271, Cannibal Ferox. Robert Baker. Back to Chad.
Okay. Robert says, saw this years ago, along with all the other Italian cannibal movies. I don't know that I would call any of these films enjoyable, but I do think it's just a part of horror film history that most diehards need to watch. At least one of these movies. I get how some people despise them due to the animal killings and sexual violence, but as someone who grew up around farms, I also know the death of animals is just something that goes on, especially in the parts of the world where these movies were made. So I guess it all comes down to what you're willing to tolerate in your viewing. But for me, the genre of the cannibal movies just all feel the same. I will say I think the attitude of Ferox is a little more nasty somehow.
I agree.
Yeah. I grew up on a farm too, but I always felt like there's something different about having farm animals that you're going to eat or send out to be slaughtered for, consumption. It's just something feels off to me about putting it in a movie and killing it, even if you eat it.
Because it's exploitative.
It's more exploitive in
we
that
have
way.
to eat to survive. We don't have to make a movie.
You don't have to make a movie.
There's no reverence for the dead at that point. And I totally, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
But I get it's complicated.
It is complicated. But it wouldn't happen now. So, that's great. We don't really have to, well, I mean, I wouldn't put it past one to try it, but it would not go well for them at this point. I don't think so.
No, you're right.
All right. The Gate, episode 270. Speaking of that, there's a lot of stuff in this movie that you wouldn't, or no, never mind. I got it mixed up with something else. I'm trying to think. No, never mind. But
no, never mind, Crystal. Never mind.
Yeah, I'm like, wait.
Okay, we did not mention Randy Brooks.
Read
Randy
the room.
Brooks played Alejandro Rey's wife, and she does a great job as one of those squeaky voiced.
Yeah.
The cutest little cow. I can't even.
Chad Allen's parents were kind of religious, and they saw all these murals on the sets, and they said, please don't frame him in many shots with those murals. Well,
that didn't happen.
Yeah, no, they may have tried for a while, but at some point down the line.
Like, wait, who was Ted?
Chad Allen's parents.
Oh, he was the kid.
Yeah.
Well, that's fair. I was like,
sure.
I was like, what?
Well, I saw all that stuff, and I thought,
on the set?
I don't know.
Well, that makes sense.
All right, where are we? The Gate. Episode 272, Robert Baker.
The Gate.
Okay.
What?
The Gate.
The Gate.
Crystal.
Yeah. Okay. Just like the last couple of movies covered on the 80s podcast, saw this on TV years ago. It was one of those that just came on, never heard of it, so I watched it. Loved it. Being into metal, this is the kind of stuff you wanted to happen when you played your records. And yes, my buddies and I did play our records backwards to see if we could hear any special messages from otherworldly entities. We were disappointed to hear nothing but me moo mop, me moo mop kinds of sounds. It seems we were lied to about getting our directions about life from sinister, mysterious forces. So we had to settle for the metal horror movies of the 80s instead.
I think it sounded more like
Oh, meow. That's what it was.
Oh, this is making me think of stuff I wanted to mention before. Do you guys know who Frank Welker is?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, he did the voice of the monster, even though
Big
there was
voice actor guy.
No credit.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Was shown. So, as you guys were all making voices here. All right. Also on the Gate from Gregory Crosby. Bill.
I love how this episode about a fun, wholesome, family-friendly horror movie somehow ended with the phrase anal stretcher. As it should.
Sorry, Gregory.
Yeah, that's when we started talking about the torture.
Yeah,
You know us.
that was me.
Yeah.
That was me doing my
That was unfortunate. It's more unfortunate to the people it happened to,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, well.
yeah.
All right, moving on. Episode 270 through Without Warning, who just went public 2 days ago. From Emulous 79, Chad.
Alien! 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 To quote the hilariously bonkers Jack Palance. After seeing this film, I wondered if it borrowed an idea from Star Trek episode Operation Annihilate. The flying jellyfish things are similar.
That's funny. Alien! Oh, he's done. That was quick.
I pulled these up and then forgot to load them, but that's them.
That's what I come home to every day when the cats have had too much to eat. Oh, look at that. They do kind of look like, yeah.
Well, I think they flew through the air too. And so anyway, good point, Emulous. Good catch. Then also from, and also the Alien. I don't remember if we talked about that or not, but that was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
He goes into a suicidal run. From Mad as Guardian on Without Warning. Crystal?
That's a great name.
Hmm.
I bought Without Warning on Blu-ray recently and really enjoyed it. I love discovering new to me vintage horror flicks. See, I love that you thankfully call it vintage. I was trying to explain to someone,
Yeah.
namely my husband. I was like, dude, the 80s are super vintage. And he was like, no, it's not. And I was like, the 90s are vintage. How about that? Oh, guess what? 2000 is vintage. That was over 20 years ago, y'all. And that's
Yeah.
a long time. Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, you can tell when you're getting old when stuff starts getting called classic that you feel like is
My
fairly
students
Still
call
new.
me vintage, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Just when you think you've seen it all, you find one more. Regarding the physical release, of something Wicked This Way Comes, there's definitely a Blu-ray, but it was exclusive to the now defunct Disney Movie Club. Needless to say, those discs are all a bit pricey now, I'm sure. Keep up the good work. Man, I really liked that movie. I
Yeah.
saw that movie a lot.
Yeah. We're keeping an eye out for it.
Which movie was that? I missed that.
Something Wicked This Way Comes.
Oh yeah. Good
He
luck,
says there
Mark.
was a Blu-ray, but it was put out by the now defunct Disney Movie Club.
I think I've heard something that they might be remaking it, which might make it even more difficult to find the original now.
Okay, and then
That sounds about
Jose, our buddy Jose, Luis
Jose.
on Without Warning. Bill?
Love it, love it, love it. I first saw this on December 19th, 2018, the night before the spinal surgery that would partially cripple my right arm. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Jesus Christ.
So there are a few bad
that's
memories that
sad.
come along with this one, but nothing to do with the film proper. It's such a nerd thrill to see Brand Palance and Landau in the same film. Like Chad, I was very surprised by the boyfriend being off so late in the film. The kind of slightly bonkers film that is deeply satisfying when in the right mood. Thank you. I'm sorry about your arm.
Sorry about your
Yeah.
arm.
Yeah.
Cheese and rice. Like, I hope you're doing okay.
Yeah.
I think I read on Facebook that he's actually on the mend and doing a little better. So
Excellent. Good to hear.
that was good to hear.
All right. And finally, on Without
Mikey
Warning
Z.
from Mikey Z, more about us than the thing. Well, Crystal, why don't you read that one?
Yeah, my dog. Poor Mulder can't see. Yeah, he can't see. He's got heart disease and diabetes. He's a hot mess. Okay. He's a gaseous mush pile. Oh, God, it is so stinky. Crystal, maybe you need to rename him Jumpin' Jack Flash because he's a gas. Oh my God.
Mikey's master of the bad pun.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't even see it coming, and I know the song. Okay, I'm so stupid. Cute puppy will comment on the podcast film at a later date. Yeah, he's the best boy. He really
All
is
right.
the best baby.
And they treat him so well. They just dote on their little fur babies. You guys
He's
are
a sweet
great.
boy. Thank you.
Yeah, it was great. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Mikey.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank
Oh my
you,
gosh. Yes. Thank you, everyone.
Jose,
Mikey,
Mad
Jose.
Asgardian, Emulus, Gregory, Robert, and Andy. We really appreciate it.
Andy.
Glad things are going better in your area, Robert.
God, I hope it. Yeah, I hope you're all well and good by the holidays too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we love
everybody-
feedback. So plenty of ways to stay in touch. Send feedback to feedback@gruesomemagazine.com, or even better yet, if you're watching the video channel, leave comments on Gruesome Magazine's YouTube channel, or you can go to Gruesome Magazine's HNRNDOH podcast Facebook group, or the website at gruesomemagazine.com. So please do that. That's it for this episode, but every 2 weeks, we'll be focusing on a specific film released between 1980 and 1989. Next up, we tackle one chosen by Bill, and it's, surprise, surprise, Italian.
Remember when Dario Argento was great?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. It's a long
Well,
time ago.
It was a
Remember?
long time ago, but one of his last truly, I think, unreservedly good ones. Opera.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's
Get those little needles under your eyes and
yeah,
come and watch
that's
us talk
that's a
about
great
it.
shot, creepy shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's on Shudder if y'all want to check it out before we record it.
This is the
Yeah.
Dario Argento film with the guy who has black gloves and kills people. You might remember.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
that
Italian horror film. With
Now I remember.
I remember. Mm-hmm.
Catch us again here in 2 weeks for another great horror movie of the 1980s. Is only decades of horror can't do it. Thank you so much, Crystal, Chad, and Bill. And thanks to all the Grue believers out there.
Yeah, thanks for the comments. It's fun.
And if you're enjoying us, share it with some friends that might also do it, or as Andy, like commute. That's when I used to always listen to H&R as I crisscross the state of Iowa for my job. So yeah, thank y'all, and say good night, everybody.
Good night,
everybody.
Good night.